Hey, I'm Tony Moreland, and this is POW, the Samsung Developers Podcast, where we chat with innovators using Samsung technologies, award-winning app developers and designers, as well as insiders working on the latest Samsung tools. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 7. Today's show is a special episode of the POW Podcast. Last year, we were not able to have our annual Samsung Developer Conference because of the pandemic, but this year, we're back with SDC 21. A virtual conference this coming October. I sat down with Eric Cloninger, who leads developer relations at Samsung. Not only do we talk about some of the highlights from our past developer conferences, but what you can look forward to at this year's SDC 21. Enjoy. Hey, Eric, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Tony, glad to be here.
So I couldn't be more excited about this special episode where we get to chat about not only the past Samsung developer conferences, but our upcoming SDC 21.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It is different this year for certain.
Let me first start off by asking, what exactly is the Samsung Developer Conference?
Samsung creates a lot of different platforms and SDKs for developers to create for and integrate with. So SDC is one of the ways we promote our platforms and educate developers on their capabilities. Like many companies, we realize that developers add a lot of value to our products with their own creations. So SDC is our opportunity to share knowledge and hopefully build a connection to the people that are making our products better.
Yeah, and what's unique with SDC 21 is this year it's actually going to be a virtual conference. Now, we know that is because the current pandemic we're in, but it's, I think, an opportunity for Samsung really to reach to a much bigger global audience that will be able to come in and attend our conference.
Certainly, in the years past, it's been a live event, and there would be quite a few people there, several thousand. Now, with it being virtual, we have a much bigger audience, and people can actually see the technical sessions as well as the keynote online. Even though it's not in person, it is still something that where we can share knowledge and people can give us feedback on what they like and don't.
Let's go back and talk a little bit about the history of SDC. I think it started back in 2013. Is that correct?
That's correct. And I was there in 2014 talking about the Gear Watch development.
Wow, that must have been pretty close to when we first launched the watch.
I think it was the first Gear S was the product that I was working on, and we were talking about development tools and how to write apps for those watches.
Since then, we've done 7 SDCs. There was a year, I think, around 2015 that we skipped. And of course, last year, we did have to hold off on doing an actual conference. Past locations, primarily San Francisco and the Bay Area.
It's been at Moscone every year until 2019 when it moved to San Jose. So it's always been in the Bay Area somewhere.
The people who attend, tell me about, what is the audience?
The audience is primarily developers, and the content is really focused on that group. A lot of Samsung employees attend to give the technical talks, and a lot of people come from all over the world to work in the booths and on the show floor. In one sense, SDC is like a family reunion. We get a chance to meet the people that we've emailed with and been on web conferences for a long time. It's a chance to come together. But it's also the fruition of a year of hard work. Whether it's virtual or in person, we can use the opportunity to celebrate and to share what we've worked on with the third-party developer community.
Yeah, I know. My first SDC was 2018. That was in San Francisco. I had started at Samsung just a few months earlier than that, so it was a great opportunity, really, for me to meet not just some of these employees that I'd only been, emailing with, but a lot of the partners that we had a great rapport with. SDC 19, I think there was over 5,000, close to 6,000 people that attend.
It's been, 5,000 to 6,000 every year since that I've been here.
Yeah.
So it's a fairly good sized conference.
So let's talk about some of the past keynotes and some of the big announcements that we've made. Going back to 2017, I think we had Stan Lee. Is that correct?
Yeah, Stan Lee from Marvel was one of the main speakers. That was pretty interesting. in 2018, we had a lot of people watching because that's the day that they announced the Galaxy Fold.
Wow.
So the first time anybody saw it was on stage at SDC. And there was probably 500,000 people watching live on either Facebook Live or YouTube.
I remember my takeaway from SDC 18 was Tim Sweeney from Fortnite.
Oh,
Epic
yeah.
Games.
Absolutely. On stage with one of our VPs who was holding tiny sword and shield. It added to the silliness, but also the fun. It was pretty fun.
Oh, definitely. Now, SDC 19, we had another very interesting person up on the stage. Talk a little bit about Vitalik.
Yeah, Vitalik Buterin is the co-founder of Ethereum. And that year we also had Justin Sun from Tron. The blockchain community is very interesting, and it's definitely a new aspect for Samsung as we had the blockchain wallet SDK that was coming out that year. And so we wanted to have people that could talk about their interactions with it. So Vitalik and Justin were on stage in the spotlight session on day 2.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting actually to see him up on stage there live in person. So a big part of our conference are the technical sessions. It's this chance for the community really to learn about new and upcoming technologies. Talk a bit about some of those sessions that we've had in the past.
So pretty much any of Samsung's technical features, SDKs, and services have sessions at SDC. So if you're interested in AI and voice-activated services, you can go to multiple Bixby sessions. If you're into the Internet of Things and how to integrate into Samsung's SmartThings ecosystem, there will be information there. As I mentioned previously, there's blockchain, there's the Knox partnership for if you want to do secure computing, One UI if you're a designer, all the new foldable phones and devices out there. There's a lot of content around how to handle app continuity and the flex mode, as well as the unique things about foldable design that you can learn about, as well as things like Samsung Health and how to design for themes. There's a wide range of technical sessions for pretty much anybody at any experience level.
Yeah. And my area of involvement with the developer conference has been around that design side. I mean, as you know, my background is in design. When we were giving the sessions on theme designing, watch face designing, that's really where I got my involvement with. So a lot of fun for me to be at the conference. Walking around the expo floor has been one of the most exciting things for me to be there, because truthfully at these different conferences, you just don't know what you're going to see. And I remember walking in, I don't know if it was SDC 18 or 19, but seeing this awesome car on the expo floor, the Harman car.
Yeah, the great thing about the expo floor is where you get to do a lot of the kind of non-technical learning. It's a great place in a more relaxed atmosphere to meet and talk to people about what's going on. So the Harman car, Harman is a subsidiary of Samsung, and they create high-end audio equipment. So I'm sure you're familiar with brands like Harman Kardon or JBL or Infinity, all very high-end brands. Harman also creates infotainment systems and telematic solutions for automakers. And so what they would do for several years is they would bring a car onto the show floor and deck it out with a lot of the latest software and hardware, as well as the audio systems for the attendees to sit in the car and try it out. Unfortunately, they wouldn't let us drive it around the show floor, obviously.
I will say I actually did ride the elevator with the person who drove the car from Southern California up to Northern California for the show. So I did get to ask a little bit about, what it is like to get behind the wheel of that car. And she said it was an absolute blast to drive it up 5.
I'm sure they had to go the speed limit, though.
Definitely. I know that SmartThings, back in 2014, one of our first conferences, they actually set up like what they called a connected home.
Yeah, it was actually a full-size, well, not full-size, it was about a 900 square foot, a 30 by 30 area where they had different rooms, and inside each of those rooms, they would have different ways that you could integrate different IoT solutions into the smart home.
Now, just to be clear, a 900 square foot home in San Francisco actually is full size. So in 2018, we did something I was actually pretty excited about. We created what we called a gallery of themes. So, as you know, with the Galaxy Store, designers can publish their phone themes. Well, what we did is we took those designs and actually built like a museum gallery, big full-size images of the different themes, nicely framed, and people would walk around this gallery and not only see this beautiful, much larger than life theme design, but this was a gallery where at the end of the conference, we actually raffled off the different pieces.
It really shows how we have a lot of incredibly creative people who are creating work for the Galaxy Store and Samsung Galaxy devices. All of those themes that were shown in that gallery are available for anyone to download and purchase on the Galaxy Store.
Yeah, I know that gallery really, really was a success, and a lot of people really enjoyed seeing that artwork in person. Another area of the floor that I saw had a lot of activity was Code Lab. Talk about what exactly is Code Lab at the conference.
Code Lab is an interactive learning experience. You don't have to actually be present at SDC to be able to use it. Samsung employees create guided learning modules with examples and downloadable code snippets that you can use to learn anything from Android development, watch face design, or a theme by the time you've gone through everything.
So if people want to learn more about Code Lab outside of the conference, where can they find that information?
You can find the Code Lab on the Samsung developer portal at developer.samsung.com/codelab.
So I think one of the most exciting things that I saw happen on the Expo floor was the VR team. They set up this like photography studio. Talk about that.
So in 2018, that team created what was called a volumetric camera setup. So it had cameras in a lot of different positions in 360 degrees. So they would take a very detailed scan of your body, and then they would print it out on a 3D printer. And so that was really cool. And then the following year, that same team took that same type of technology and they integrated it with a live interactive experience called Delusion. And Delusion was a very creepy, interactive experience where you interacted with all of these crazy characters. And because of the time of the year, it was October 29th and 30th. So it was just the day before Halloween. Okay, you had all of these very spooky characters that you were interacting with in a 3D experience. And the thing that was cool about it was the second night we had this, after hours segment, and those characters in the game actually came to life. And you actually saw these people walking around that you had interacted with in the interactive exhibit.
Yeah, I remember that being a very fun and freaky evening. I was working in one of the booths behind the scenes. Doors were closed, and as they were prepping for the opening of the doors, the fog machine was rolling. The people started rushing in, and then I saw those characters that had been in that interactive space actually walking amongst the people, and there were a few times that, in a fun way, I was a little not at ease with those different folks.
Yeah, it was kind of a creepy experience because some of those characters, they stayed in character and they would look right through you, and it was a very creepy experience. So the after hours is a lot of fun at SDC, as it is with a lot of events. It's an opportunity to kind of be a lot more relaxed. You'll see some people that you saw in the technical sessions earlier in the day, and you have a chance to maybe drill down a little deeper while you have a plate of food and a beverage in your hand.
Sure.
So it's a good experience overall. And to be honest, I'm looking forward to when we can do that again.
Yeah. Hopefully that will be next year. So I thought it would be nice if we brought in a designer/developer who has been very involved with the Samsung community and who has not only attended many of the past SDC conferences, but was also invited to speak at one of the past sessions. Chris Shomo from Infinity Watchfaces.
Hey, Chris, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you on the podcast. So, looking back at the Samsung Developer Program, Chris has been one of those resources that we've turned to many times, and it simply comes down to not only your success but your willingness to share and really help grow the entire ecosystem for Samsung Watchfaces and Galaxy devices.
Well, one thing that I've learned is all about the community. That's one of the reasons I love to share things that I find out, because I've also reached out to other designers and asked them, hey, how do you do this? How do you do that? And they're more than willing to share back. So it really is a give and take type of thing. And, if you're nice, then you can find some answers that you're looking for out there.
There you go. Definitely. And, honestly, the more success there is amongst all the designers, just the more vibrant the Galaxy store is, just with lots of great content.
Oh, yeah. And just how it developed over time, too, because I've seen it since the very beginning when there was hardly anything on there. And then just watching it explode to all these designs that you can't even imagine what's going to pop on there next. It's exactly wonderful. Designs blow me away all the time.
So Chris is the person behind Infinity Watchfaces and truly is one of the first designers who started creating for the platform. Tell me, what year was it that you actually started designing and selling on Galaxy Store?
Oh, goodness, 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I actually did an episode on the podcast on Chris last year. It was a great episode. We talked about how you got your start creating for Samsung and also that your house in Savannah, Georgia was featured in an episode of Ghost Hunters, that it is haunted.
Yes, it is. It's been quite an experience, even though I do believe that the ghost does appreciate me being here, I believe. I do not know that, but she's been pretty nice.
Nice. So if you want to learn much more about Chris, go back to that episode and check it out. It was a great show. So in 2017, before I started working for Samsung, you were actually invited to come out to San Francisco and speak at the conference. Tell me about that.
Wow, it was quite an experience. And first off, it was my first developers conference, first any type of tech conference. So I was a little nervous in the very beginning because here I am, I'm going to San Francisco and I'm getting ready to speak in front of a lot of other designers and developers.
Sure.
What an experience. It was great.
I'm sure it was nice to actually meet also the people, not only at Samsung, but then, some of the fellow developers that are part of this community.
Yeah, and also met a lot of people that became future designers for specifically Watchfaces, which was wonderful. They always come back to me and be like, hey, I was there. And I'm like, I remember you. And, and they take off and they do very well.
Yeah. So I actually came across a video on YouTube of you speaking at the conference. And that's how I actually got my start, how I first discovered that you can create these watch faces and start selling them for Samsung. Now, I took it a step further and actually started working for Samsung eventually.
Yep. And I think that's amazing. I remember you sent me an email one time actually telling me that I had a typo on my website.
That's right.
And I was like, whoa, thank you. Because it was just no one wants a stupid typo on their website. So I got that fixed. And then I never knew that, I'd be working with you back and forth like we are now and stuff. So it's great. It's amazing how everything is connected.
Yeah. So earlier this year, we announced a partnership with Google and Wear OS and introduced Watchface Studio. It's a new tool for designing Galaxy watch faces that are sold on the Google Play Store. When the tool was first developed, we asked you to be part of that early access team. So can you tell me about that experience, how it is working with that tool and what it's like to now publish on Google Play?
Well, first off, thank you for getting me in there. And you recommended me for being part of that team. And it was excellent to be part of it because I was able to kind of push it to its limits for animations. I had a really long animation I was testing with it, and I was sending it back and forth with Samsung, and it helped them iron out and smooth out how the animations were working on the watch. And that was great. And, of course, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains in the very beginning. We're working on that. But it's been amazing how the team at Samsung has been so responsive and to get this software right for us. You can really create some masterpieces. So I'm excited about this.
Yeah, and that's why I thought it was so important to have you part of that team, is because really your designs they're not like the typical design. I mean, you really do push the software to try and get the most out of it. They're fun, they're quirky. I mean, animations are a huge part of your designs. So is there anything new and exciting that we can anticipate coming out in the near future?
Oh, wow. I don't really know myself because I kind of jump around so much with these designs, which is another reason why I guess it's kind of unexpected and surprising when another one comes out. At one time, you'll have like dancing tigers, and the next second, you have dolphins and sea turtles swimming. I'm working on getting one onto the Google Play Store right now called Flip Out that has the dolphins and the sea turtles.
Sure.
And then Tiger Time as well. And then we got a giant eyeball for Halloween that should be showing up. So yeah, a bunch of different things.
Yeah, you've got, and they're super crazy and they're very artistic.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and it also, one of the things that I like to concentrate on is trying to bring joy to people with the watch faces, where they look at it and, just for a moment of time, they can actually, take a break from reality, get absorbed into the watch, smile for a minute. If that happens, then I know I succeeded.
And also what I love is how you build in the sort of like goals where the watch will change. Like let's use step as an example. As you're reaching your different step goals throughout the day, your watch face then is also changing throughout the day.
And that started out, of course, with the Tizen watches, and it worked with everyone's step goal percentage that they set with the watch. And that was another thing that I'm glad I was in the beta, because I was really expressing how much we needed a step goal percentage and to work with it. And they added it in after I requested it. And it was real quick. And of course, there are some differences where we have to set the watch face to its unique step goal as opposed to the user's set step goal. But that's because of they're trying to make it so it's compatible with all the different watches using Wear OS. But that's cool. It opens up a new line of challenge faces where, you can reach 1,000 steps for this to happen, 2,000 steps for this to happen. And I think it's really going to open the door for a lot of unique and creative designs.
You brought up a great point that I always stress, and that is how approachable Samsung is to our developer community. Samsung really does listen to our developers, and we actually want to have that one-on-one communications. Through our different channels, it is really easy to reach out to us, and we'll give you that personal attention that we know our developers need when they're creating for Samsung.
And I've really watched the developers program grow over time too, because back in 2016, it was kind of a shot in the dark, but everybody was like new to it. Samsung was new to this, the watch faces, and working with this, ready to be flood of designers that are getting ready to come in. And then everyone at Samsung embraced us. I mean, we feel like we're part of a family.
Thanks. Chris, I got to thank you for jumping in and joining us on the podcast. When SDC is back in person, I hope to see you there, if not sooner.
I will definitely be there. Count me in.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
It was great to hear from Chris. He's a part of the community of designers and developers that really make the Galaxy Store special.
Yeah, he's been there from pretty much day one. So it was great to catch up with Chris. And like I said, I can't wait to actually see him in person. So at past SDCs, we've done what's called the Best of Galaxy Store Awards. I think SDC 18 was the first time that we did the show at the conference. SDC 19, that's when I actually hosted it down in San Jose. It was great. We had a lot of the winners actually at the conference. We were able to recognize them for the great apps that they've created for Galaxy Store. However, last year in 2020, because we did not have a conference, we did a virtual awards show. This was presented on YouTube as a live premiere and really actually was a lot of fun because we were able to reach out to quite a big audience.
One of the things I thought was cool about that was we all sat in the chat room. It was in the early evening U.S. time, but there were people logging in from Russia and the Czech Republic and Slovenia, all of these developers and designers who had created things and won. It was the middle of their night, but they were on there congratulating each other.
I think it really shows how the award show is really a global award show. I mean, we've got winners from all around the world, winners from large companies down to indie designers and developers. I mean, it really is a huge, huge community.
And I think it shows how the Galaxy Store enables a lot of smaller operations, smaller individuals who may get lost in a larger organization, that they can actually create something and monetize it and enjoy the success that they can have from their own work.
Yeah, no, that's very true. That being said, though, there have been some pretty big names that we've recognized with awards. In the past, we've given awards to TikTok, Epic Games, Fortnite, Microsoft with their franchise Forza, Topgolf, that was another one. And then there's a great company, Butterfly Affected, that has licensed big brands like SpongeBob, Hello Kitty, and Star Trek. It was great to see them recognized for their work.
And also last year, for the first time, Bixby developers had the opportunity to have their capsules judged. And in 2020, the winner was Spotify.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually worked on many of the trailers that were shown in the awards show, and Spotify was one of the ones that I really, really enjoyed doing. Not only the voiceover for, but integrating the music and all the editing. That was a lot of fun to work on that project.
And we look forward to that in 2021. And so when is the award show this year?
So the award show will be part of SDC. So that is on October 26th. Later on in the evening, though, we're going to be doing a premiere on YouTube at 6 p.m. Eastern, and we will be participating in a live chat. So we would love for, not only the winners will be on participating in this live chat, but we would love just to have the community on there so we can all, get together as a chance to, congratulate the winners and really talk about all of the great apps that were recognized during the award show.
Yeah, the one thing about this that I think we did have a lot of fun with it last year, and we hope to have more fun this year in that chat session. The invitation goes out to really everyone who is interested in the Galaxy ecosystem, and that could be anybody who is a user, a consumer, a developer, a designer. We want to celebrate everyone's hard work.
Definitely. And if you would like to actually go back and see who the previous winners are and actually learn more about this upcoming award show, you can go over to developer.samsung.com/awards to learn more about the Best of Galaxy Store awards show. So let's talk about SDC 21. As you know, it's a virtual show. It will be on October 26th. Where can people find out more information about registering to attend the virtual conference?
So the conference is free for anyone to attend, and you can learn more at developer.samsung.com/SDC.
Let's talk about some of the sessions. What can you share about the sessions at SDC 21?
Well, I don't want to steal any of the thunder from the product teams that have been working so hard for the last year, but I will tell you that most every technology team that is working on products at Samsung will have something to talk about at SDC. So if you're interested in the One UI beta, you'll learn a lot more about that at the sessions. The Watchface tools, there's a podcasting platform that's brand new that I think you know something about.
Yeah. No, I am helping out the podcast platform team. We're excited. Samsung has their new podcast platform, making it easy for users to listen to podcasts. And we're really excited because in October, we're going to be expanding this platform to countries in Europe. So it's really a big deal. You can check out my session, and I kind of walk you through how it is that you submit your podcast to Samsung. So do you have any insight on what is going to be featured in the keynote?
I do have a little bit of information to share. And one of the things that is always kind of fun with the keynote at SDC is that Samsung President DJ Koh will be speaking, as well as many other people from within the design and engineering teams at Samsung. As you know, the last physical SDC was in 2019. It seems like our world has kind of stopped, but to be honest, the pace of technology keeps on moving. And so nearly every Samsung technology team will be there, and they want to talk about all of the innovation and creation that they've done in the last 2 years. So there'll be things announced for nearly every technology team, from Bixby and SmartThings to mobile devices and smart TVs. There's lots of information for developers that they will be able to use to create their own products for 2022 and beyond.
So really exciting. SDC 21 is going to be October 26th.
And if you want to attend, all you have to do is register at developer.samsung.com/SDC. It's free to attend, and we would love to see you there.
Excellent. Hey, Eric, thanks so much for being on the podcast. Super exciting to be back at it with SDC, and I can't wait for it.
Oh, absolutely. It's really the result of a year's worth of work by hundreds of people, and we really want to share it with all the people out there.
Yeah, it should be a great show. All right. Thanks, Eric.
All right. Thank you, Tony.
Looking to start creating for Samsung? Download the latest tools to code your next app. Or Get software for designing apps without coding at all. Sell your apps to the world on the Samsung Galaxy Store. Check out developer.samsung.com today and start your journey with Samsung.
The POW podcast is brought to you by Samsung developers and produced by Tony Moreland.